What's your take on PENGU? I will go over that because it is a long position that I'm still in. Let's see if I'm stopped by this point. No, I'm not. Okay. So unfortunately, my take profit 2 missed by like 1%. Oh God. 0.6% even. PENGU was really interesting, actually. So I entered, I want to say here, I believe here. Gave a retest of the entry, shot to take profit 1, which was somewhere in here. Great. But weirdly, when I tweeted PENGU yesterday, I noticed so many people post about it, which was really weird. I don't know if it was one of those things where there was literally nothing going on in the market and maybe people like saw my post or saw PENGU is actually green on the day and they decided to post about it too. But I thought that was super weird. So I would say that definitely helped my long position and it just launched to take profit 1, which is nice. As you can see here, take profit 2 just slightly missed, which is painful. Should I have closed this? Probably. I probably should have closed when price reclaimed the H1 consolidation period, which is really the base of my argument. At this point, I'll just wait for the invalidation to hit. Fine, take profit 1 hit, so it is what it is. What can you do? Just one of those things. I'm not going to sit here and get upset about it. I really did nail the trade, so it is what it is. We'll see if price hits the invalidation. If not, obviously I'll continue to hold. Maybe even, let's just remove this just for a second so we could draw on it without the distraction. So if we get some kind of consolidation period down here, I mean, it's just going to be such an easy long setup yet again. So I'll take it probably from here yet again. So consolidation, this would classify as consolidation in my eyes. But if we go sideways for another few hours, reclaim the level, I would take that long again. Take profit 1 would probably be here, something like that. We'll see if it happens. Even if this trade does get stopped out, I am still interested in PENGU just because it was a runner and it's going to be top of mind for people. So let's just say in a world, let's delete this again. In a world where just everything fails and PENGU rolls over from here, perfectly fine, no problem. Let's go to the H4 chart and try and highlight some levels. I could already see levels that are jumping out at me here. Extend that to the right. Decent. Could that be any better? So really what I'm doing when I'm looking for these key levels that I always talk about is I'm looking for the most amount of candle bodies, wicks, and really just general action at that level that I can get, right? So as you can see, what I did there, I went from there, where you can see the line is, to here, right? Which is such a minor change. But I get these 2 candle bodies here and then really nothing else. Now, all I did was move it a little bit lower and I get even more action at that level, right? Where I have candle bodies here, 3 candle bodies, another candle body, wicks into the level, more candle bodies to the right, wicks into the level, wick above the level with closing below, 2 wicks perfectly tapping the level, and now I extend that to the right. So all I'm looking for is just the most amount of candle touches, wicks and bodies possible, and that make the most sense, right? I'm not just going to put a line somewhere like here just because there's a ton of touches there. You know, it needs to make sense. So you can see on the H1, perfect levels, wonderful. So if and when PENGU does roll over, I would like to see some action at this level. Again, that action could just be consolidation at the level, chopping at the level, consolidation below the level, reclaim long setup would be a no-brainer long, maybe a wick at the level, and then consolidation above before another leg up. Something like that. So that's generally what I look for there. With Sol, we have a clear H1 level. Look at all these interactions with the level. Price broke the level, reclaimed the level. So all of the liquidity here was swept. Great. Well, now what? Well, now price is going back to the level. We are now retesting the key H1 level. So really, this is a pivotal point for Sol, right? It could either print another decent long setup where I would take something like this. Take profit 1 would be around there. Something like that. My invalidation is the low before the reclaim of the level. But let's say Sol dives a little bit lower, sweeps this low here. All I would do is use the low wherever it would be here as my invalidation point for that long setup. Now, if that doesn't happen, and again, we get some consolidation at the level here, because this is an H1 breakout point, I am also interested in action at this level, right? So that could be a perfectly fine entry trigger as well. Losing this H1 level would make me just not interested in a long position, where it's one of those things where I don't care what happens below here. It could do whatever. But if we come back into the level, consolidate below, reclaim, that would just be a no-brainer long setup in there. But Sol honestly doesn't look that bad, especially if we hold right here. I would probably take that long, like I said, something like this, something like that. So we'll see. I'll keep that in my mind though. I was so close to long the Pepe here. Obviously I didn't. I was really close to longing Pepe. Higher time frame, you saw me discuss it yesterday on Twitter, but 2 levels, daily breakout point here, daily breakout point here. You really need to play stuff like this level to level on the daily. I think it's just so much easier. I don't know why people don't do it. So the argument is very simple when you're playing level to level on the daily chart or higher time frames. If price is above this level, I'm looking for longs. Pretty straightforward. So price is above this level on the daily, so I'm looking for a long position. Now from that point, I break it down to lower time frames and I see what I could possibly do to get into a long position. Is there a setup brewing? What's happening on the Pepe chart? A few things here on the H4. So how should I talk about this? Well, okay. The first setup that would probably be the best setup, or one of the best setups I discuss, is consolidation below this daily level. In general, it's pretty obvious, and I've discussed it so much. The patterns I look for, I have a video on it as well, by the way, if you want to check it out. The patterns I look for is generally that. So any amount of confluence I could find with a pattern that kind of looks like this, or there's a similar idea to this, is something I'm interested in. Okay, so when I have daily confluence with that kind of pattern, that's like an A+ setup. So something like this, where we have a daily chart just below price, that's very enticing to me, where if I see the consolidation below the level and then a reclaim, I'll typically size a little bit higher because I have that extra layer of confluence with the daily level. But don't be confused that I would only wait for that setup, because that may never come, right? That just may never happen. So I need to adapt and come up with another argument, because again, higher time frame, price is above this level, so I'm looking for a long. That's one setup. The next setup I have is on the hourly time frame, where I have a key H1 level where it's a breakout point, lots of wicks, lots of bodies into the level, lots of consolidation at the level. Great. Again, think back to the pattern I just drew out up here. That's happening. Well, at least one half is happening here, where price is consolidating below a key level. So now all I have to do is wait for the reclaim. Then if and when that reclaim happens, I'm in a long position. That's it. So something like this, let's just say as an example, that's my long entry. The invalidation point typically is going to be the low before the reclaim, and then take profit one would be, I don't know, somewhere in here, fresh local highs. Does that make sense? Was that a good explanation? So that would be the general thought process for Pepe. What did you ask? Realistic targets if possible. Again, just level to level on the daily time frame. The next daily level is going to be 21% higher at 0.016. So to me, that's a realistic price target, and I really don't want to think much above that, right? I could come up with another daily level, maybe something like that. So to the next daily level, you have another 9%. But that's generally how I do things. I really don't rush into having like these insane daily targets. I think it could be damaging at times to have some like insane price target on a higher time frame, because it could force you to bag hold, and it could force you to only see the positive price action and you don't see like glaringly obvious negative signals. Yeah, that's just for me.